obviously there are other sonic elements in Juice Know the Ledge, but it's really his voice. And again, whatever what was the bass on that?
Actually, it was an upright bass.
It was.
It was
okay.
it was. And matter of fact, I believe, I can't remember, but I think Rakim played it with the God. I want to say the Mirage, the Insonic Mirage.
Okay.
Because that particular sound, it's funny because when you look at that track, that in order for that bass that the sound, like, to me, authentic, it's an upright bass. There's not many samples that you can use that really sound that authentic. And if you bring in a real bass player, you don't get that deepness, that richness that you need, because the upright bass is a lot acoustic, and it's hard to record that, to get all that oomph out of it. So that's that's the reason, that I like that I chose. I like to use the Mirage keyboard, because it really had it. That's the one thing that it accentuated, was that bass, and that upright bass in there is all throughout the Slick Rick's first record as well.
And I was going to say another prominent example, ironically, is with "Don't Sweat the Technique" by Eric B. and Rakim as well.
Exactly. And to be honest, to me, that song is in the vein of "Follow the Leader." It has that. I pretty much thought that "Follow the Leader" was underrated. I thought that was a fantastic. I still think that record holds up today like it's brand new.
Are you talking about this song or the album itself?
The song.
Well, yeah. I agree, but I also think possibly, as we're talking about blockbusters versus creative art, the feel of that song in '88, while it worked very well, Rakim's rapping so fast, for him at least, and the sonically it felt so fast compared to a lot of the entire Paid in Full album, and then what we get with Microphone Fiend soon thereafter. So I think it was jarring. And then I think it also didn't have, because he's talking a lot of the Know the Ledge, a lot of the mathematics and the science and stuff. I think a lot of people also, as rap was expanding and exploding and more non-knowledgeable people were listening to it, I guess you want to say, I think it didn't resonate with the average consumer as much, because of the lyrics were not geared for them, I guess.
Well, yeah, I tend to think that those tend to be the best records.
Well,
it's like I call it you tend to go on the rediscovery path. I mean, listen, I'm not taking away anything from the hits, the hits that's out there. We know why they hit, because there's something about, if you want a record to hit people, well, you kind of gotta dumb it down in a way. So you have to make it so that the masses of people get it right away. So you can't have things in there that they have to go and research. You can't have things in there they gotta think about for a minute. It has to be pretty immediate, and that's cool on one respect, but it doesn't allow you to go deeper and to expand.
Well, speaking of that, like he says, traveling through magnificent speeds throughout the universe. It's like,
that's right.
Not everybody's just gonna be like, yeah,
Well, yeah, I think that's cool, because you get it now.
Yeah,
it's funny because we're diversing a little bit, but this is cool. I pulled up Life of Pablo, man, Kanye, and that record is sheer genius. And people they say, oh, that's old. I say, yeah, it is old. But people missed this. They missed what he was talking about. And that, to me, is what sets it, to me, is what set him apart from everyone else. Is that, yeah, he doesn't mind going on that tangent, just because he's not staying on the cookie cutter, which is the easy path, which is, okay, let's just keep pounding out the hits that everybody wants to hear. No, he decides that he's going to go on a different journey. And then some people like it and some people don't. And that to me is what true art should represent.
But I think that also ironically speaks to me with rap period, in the sense that this was not the normal way that messages, words, different things were being presented to people. And I always remember one of the earlier things I remember reading about this, and it was Chuck D was saying, like, you know, rap lyrics compared to any other sort of song, there's like 17 times more words. It's just way more that you have to digest and deal with and you know, understand and comprehend in this same amount of time. So it's at least until people got used to it, and now people have been hearing it for 50 years, so it's not as foreign a concept to hear. But I even remember my mom would tell me so many times with people that were not rapping fast, like she couldn't understand the words and they were not rapping fast. And it wasn't, this is also not people that were saying all kinds of slang and stuff. She just wasn't used to hearing that delivery of word, so it was foreign to her. Now she's much better at it, and I've been listening to rap my whole life around her, so she has gotten way more used to it. But I always just thought it was so weird. Even someone like Too Short, like his singles, of course, when I would play them or she'd see him on Yo MTV Raps or Rap City with me, like even on The Ghetto, which is a slow song, it's not, he's not rapping fast or twisting his words or anything, but she couldn't get some of it. And I was just like, huh? But
yeah, you know. No, that's a, you know, I think that the thing that attracts me to rappers is not just how well you put words together. It's how clever that you can keep my attention to go into the next bar. And then if you can keep my attention and then take me on a, not just a sonic journey, but a visual journey as well. And it never gets boring. So it's kind of like you're going down this wormhole of thought. And if you can keep me going and get me to the chorus where the chorus gives me the payoff, that's nirvana, man. That's something that you don't get from singing, you know, because singing is more what I consider to be base layer. It's like the first layer. It's like you listen to it, it feels good, and that's it. You know, there's nothing more to digest other than that. It's like candy. You know, it's like, oh yeah, it tastes good. Yeah, because it's sweet. You know, but it afterwards, you didn't get anything from it. You just got a nice sweet taste. Well, rap doesn't do that. And that's why rap has been so fascinating to so many people for so many years.
Yeah. And I think too, bringing up Kanye and Life of Pablo as one of my favorite, in my opinion, one of the best artists too, Master Ace had his album Disposable Arts. I think it's a challenge because there's such volume of material, and we forget how poetic, how brilliant a lot of artists are when we choose to really sit down and listen to it, because there's so much. And you know, the older you get, the more stuff you got, more responsibilities, what have you, but or the less time most people spend listening to music, really dissecting it like they did in their teens, 20s, and 30s even. But that to me is one of the biggest challenges of examining rap in a objective way, because I think a lot of people like what they like, but they don't really take a step back and look at the art aspect of it, as far as the poetry, the you know, if you, as you're well aware, like when you listen to a song, they might reference one of their other songs or an EPMD song or a you know, even in Yay, I think I meant to ask you, I didn't know if this was an intentional, but there's a scene where the song, I imagine, or it's actually Come Clean from J. Rue is played in Yay. And I was like, oh man, is that playing off of J. Rue? Is that playing off the original sample? Because it kind of matched what was happening in the film. And it just, those type of things to me are, it's those, what do they call them? Easter eggs. But it's just it's just so amazing when you get that double, triple entendre, or when Scarface says, I ain't going out, when the girl on Scarface says, I ain't going out like the last bitch, she's referring to a Ghetto Boys song. When Scarface, it's just all this stuff is so amazing. But to get that, you have to understand, you have to pay attention, you have to know these references.
Of course. Yeah. And one of the things that I try to, all respect due to Master Ace, he's one of my favorites as well. I think that the thing that you have to understand with rap, it's two things that it's hard to be a rapper, man. That's why I could never do it. It's like you got to pay attention to so many different variables. For example, I mean, not only do you have to remember what your thoughts and your ideas that you're trying to get across, you got to also be in sync to what's going on at the present time as well. So those are two things that are kind of like diametrically opposed to each other. And to me, when I look at brilliance, the brilliance are those that can take those two dynamics to another level. Because I think that as more rap is made, you tend to gotta now move and hold it to a higher level. So the things that would have worked in 96, it's not gonna work in 2006, just because of the time shift. So now how do you get the same effect of saying something is meaningful in 96, but it's in 2006 that gives you the same feeling of you being in step to what's going on? That's a tough cookie.
So do you think that's why it's hard in particular for rappers to have long careers?
Oh, gosh, I think that there's a couple of things that falls to play. A lot of times, the hardest thing for us to do is to come out of our comfort zone. And to me, let's take, for example, when I first started doing hip hop, my parents and everybody, even my friends were all around me was like, that's garbage. That ain't gonna work. That'll never be anything. There's so many people telling me that it was a fad. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, well, they're not even listening to it. The idea of what I hear in it is something of, I see something that's moving forward. I see something that's telling a bigger story. I see something that's creating more connections with their fan base than anything else. For example, there's a artist right now that I'm listening to, and I'm fascinated by her. Right, and you're gonna go like, really? It's Lizzo. Okay. Right now, why am I fascinated with Lizzo? Lizzo does something that very few people can do, which is she's taking R&B and bridging it with rap identity. And she's also giving it rap sensibility, and she's giving it the visual expression of rap, but putting it in an R&B format, and she's going back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, if you get a chance to listen to, especially her latest album, if you listen to it, she's doing stuff that's phenomenal. And it's going by people like really? And keep in mind that the reason why I said that she's using rap sensibilities, because she's speaking about herself and all the issues and problems that she goes through, but she's making light of it at the same time while she's letting you understand that that's deep and it's bothering her. So there's a lot of things at play, and I think that that's the true nature of art today. And I think that you have to come away from the veneer of being behind the music or being on top of it, and using the bravado that's in us, because we all got it. We all got badass in us. Now the question is, can you make me understand you when you don't feel badass? Those times when you feel like shit, when you feel like nobody cares. when you feel like you're not good enough. Those are the sensibilities. Those are the sensibilities that Drake have managed to kind of like manifest itself. And how did he connect? Because he connected to an audience that was wanting to hear vulnerability. And that's what blew. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that to me is what made him, blow up, as you would, and still trending.
Yeah. I also think too, looking at it in a different way, but it's also a vulnerability. I mean, look at Shut 'Em Down or Black Steel and the Hour of Chaos. Those are not songs being presented from positions of power. Those are from positions of frustration, anger, sabotage, American imperialism, all the horrible things that the people that Chuck describes, details, and narrates in those songs in particular, that's also vulnerable. It's just not interpersonal relationship vulnerability. It's a societal, economic, all that type of stuff, lineage, etc. Legal vulnerability if you're incarcerated. So
yeah, I think that's when rap shines. And it also shines in its simplicity as well. See, this is the dynamics that rap has. It's like that's why it's so difficult for anybody to pick a top 50 rappers. It's like, how dare you? It's like, how many people are you going to leave off the list that have inspired you and made you who you are?
And I want you to listen real close to me. I'm going to ask you some real simple questions, and I want some real simple answers. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You said that you couldn't have possibly been at the crime scene at 11:15 because you were in the bookstore buying my audio book and my hardcover book at 11:15 when the crime scene occurred in Soren's book.
The History of Gangster Rap.
So you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying the books.
Right. At 11:15, I was at the bookstore at 11:15, and when I bought the books and accidentally left them at the store.
So at 11:15, you couldn't have been at the crime scene because you were buying books, right?
At 11:15, when I was leaving, it was some people coming in, and I forgot to grab.
But you don't remember
what they look like.
What they look like or nothing, right?
No.
So. At 12:15, you in the bookstore buying my audio book and hardcover book and Soren's book at 12:15. So you couldn't have been at the scene because you were buying the books, right?
Yeah, at 12 exactly. At 12:15 exactly, I was at the bookstore.
Now you see. You know you done fucked up.
Which
First you said you were at the bookstore at 11:15, and then you said you was 12:15. You know you done fucked up, man.
He fucked up.
Yeah, he fucked up. He fucked up.
Man, you confusing me, man.
So, you get my book, my audio book, 40 years in Soren's book, History of Gangster Rap, and if you don't, you know you done fucked up, right?
Man, the more those cops ask me questions, the more I wish I bought them motherfucking books.